A long time ago, on a battlefield far away, on a dark Christmas Eve, I once met a fierce warrior elf, drawn by a sleigh. He fought like Achilles, unrelenting, at times tragic, and I knew in a moment that this elf in red was magic. I haven't seen him since that fateful night, but we have him here today, just in from a flight, to read you a tale of Christmas cheer and to talk about giving you naughty should fear. Always rare to see him, Kris Kringle's warrior cousin. Combat Santa is his name, there for our warrior brethren. So close your eyes and let your fingers snap for Combat Santa to appear and regale us in his red combat cap. Hello, boys and girls. It's Combat Santa. And it's time for the night before Christmas. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the camp, every terrorist was stirring, including the Taliban. Weapons were slung on chest racks with care, while operators loaded helos to fly through the air. The assault was underway with a gunship overhead. 30 seconds was the call as the enemy ran and fled. And Chief led the train as the helo touched the ground. Shots fired was the call. Man down, man down. When out on the target, there arose such a clatter. The Chief sprang from the helo to see what was the matter. Away to the target, he flew like a flash, breached the first door, and tossed in a crash. The moon shone down on enemy fighters below, and through night vision goggles made for a green, fiendish foe. When suddenly, with an explosion and enemy screams, Chief saw demon eagles straight out of nightmares and bad dreams. And behind the eagles, manning a 60 with no fear, was a battle-strapped badass with Oakleys and a ferocious white beard. He descended on the enemy like a gangster out of Atlanta. Chief knew in a moment it had to be Combat Santa. Clad in red fur, with weapons galore, he drove a hot rod sleigh with a minigun mounted to the door. Drawn by possessed eagles, his bearers they came, and he howled and he shouted and he called them by name. Now vengeance, now allegiance, now punisher and crusader, on darkness, on downfall, on destruction and slaughter. To the top of the camp, to the top of the wall, protect our wounded, take out the enemy, and crush them all. As explosions before, the fragmentation flies. When he meets with an obstacle, it smashes it nigh. So up to the top of the camp, Combat Santa flew, with a sleigh full of bombs and an airstrike on cue. And then in a twinkling, Chief watched with disbelief as Combat Santa got out of his sleigh, covered in grief. A warrior had fallen by an enemy shot, and Combat Santa waded through the gunfire right to the spot. He picked up the fallen warrior through the gunfire. Chief watched him roam and placed him in his sleigh for his final ride home. Chief watched with amazement as Combat Santa turned and called out to the enemy as his minigun churned. He moved with a vengeance like a warrior poet, dispensing the enemy with purpose, unable to forgo it. And under his breath, Chief could hear him say, "Naughty, naughty," with each enemy he sent on his way. A bundle of weapons he had on his back, and he looked like a specter as he blasted through the pack. His eyes, how they burned as he fought to the wounded. Inspired by his heroics, stepped to the fight the platoon did. And Chief watched as Combat Santa came upon an enemy fighter, and the fighter begged and he pleaded as he witnessed the slaughter. Combat Santa looked upon him, and with this he did say, "Vengeance and mercy are not mine to dispense, and I doubt Mad Dog Mattis will spare you as Secretary of Defense. But tonight I will let you go on this great Christmas Eve. The last of your kind, you will get a reprieve. Go forth and tell your friends of what happened here. For America and her warriors will never back down from fear. And Chief watched as the enemy fighter promptly ran away, and Combat Santa turned to the troops, and with this he did say, our warriors and their families will need help in time, for warfare and battle put a strain on the mind. So find good groups that can show them the way, like the Combat Wounded Coalition out of Chesapeake Bay. They help our wounded and families of the fallen, and the crew that runs them is committed and all in. So tell your friends and citizens alike that those who bear the cost of battle need help due to strife. It is the season of giving, not what you can get. So get on my nice list and give for goodness beget. Don't get on my naughty list, Combat Santa warned with a smile, as he surveyed the platoon who stood rank and file. Combat Santa hitched his gear, giving one last good hike. Grinned as he said, for the naughty will get coal and an airstrike. And laying his gloved finger upon his scarred nose, he rose to his sleigh as the minigun barrel still glowed. And the eagles let loose with a thunderous scream, and Combat Santa grabbed the reins as if in a battlefield dream. He surveyed the troops around him below. You are my brothers in battle, or no? You fight for what is right and just, willing to pay a price. And for this on my list you will go, always under nice. I will seek out the greedy and the selfish non-givers, the terrorists, the tyrants, the dictators with shiver. I will find them in the darkness and the dead of the night, and I will call in their coordinates for that devastating airstrike. And with a nod of his head and a flick of his battle-scarred hands, the eagles darted off across the barren lands. But Chief heard Combat Santa yell out as the afterburners drove him out of sight. Merry Christmas to all warriors, and to all a good night. So give today with all your might, or I'm coming for you with coal and an airstrike. Merry Christmas.